to the Massillon City Council meetings for Tuesday, February 21st, 2023. We have in attendance with us tonight the following city officials.
Mayor Kathy Cazarel Perry.
Good evening.
Safety Service Director Barb Sylvester. Assistant Mod Director Edmund Mack. Economic Development Director David Maley. Is there anyone from the administration I missed? That's it, Madam President.
Thank you. Welcome to all who are in the audience tonight. Under number 5 on the agenda is where anyone from the public can speak on any topic that does appear on tonight's agenda. And again, under number 17 is where the public can speak on any topic that did not appear on tonight's agenda. I'd like to remind anyone in the audience and council, please, if you have a cell phone, mute it, set it, vibrate, or turn it off. Thank you. Roll call.
Creamer.
Present.
Gray.
Here.
Howard Smith.
Here.
Hurricane.
Here.
Lewis.
Present.
Lombardi.
Here.
Smoops.
Here.
Snee. And Viola.
Here.
Roll call of 8 present, Madam President.
Thank you. Councilman Lewis.
I'd like to make a motion that we excuse Councilman Snee.
Second by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call.
Gregg.
Yes.
Howard Smith.
Yes.
Hurricane.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Lombardi.
Yes.
Smoops.
Yes.
Viola.
Yes.
And Creamer.
Yes.
8 yes to excuse Councilman Snee.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Councilman Sweeney has been excused. Councilwoman Creamer.
Thank you, Madam President. Please stand and join me in the Lord's Prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilwoman Creamer. Madam Clerk, for the minutes of the previous meeting transcribed and open for public viewing.
Yes, they are.
Are there any additions or corrections to be made?
No, there are not.
And the minutes stand approved as written. Word number 5 on the agenda, where anyone from the audience can come forward and speak on any topic that did appear on tonight's agenda. If you wish to do so, please state your name, address, topic you wish to discuss, and please limit your comments to 4 minutes or less. And when you're finished signing the paperwork, George will have you do that. Steve?
I just want to make sure.
Microphone, please.
I just want to make sure that the Tiger Rag situation is on 17. Correct? Pardon?
Well, he's
No,
asking.
that's
He's
what-
asking if it's on the agenda. I believe. Is that what
Yeah,
you're
that's
doing?
what I was asking.
He was asking to see if he could
Asked
get up and
about
talk
if
now.
it was on 17, by the way.
Okay. Anyone opposed? Oh, no, that's it. No one wants to speak on anything on the agenda. Okay, new miscellaneous business.
The Alice training.
I got that. Okay, you all got the information about the Alice training. The different times are going to be March 7th, 1 to 3 at the administration building. March 15th, 8 to 10 at the Rec Center, Community Room A. March 15th, noon to 2 at the Rec Center, Community Room A. And March 7th, 9 to 11 at the Health Department. Diane will have the sign-up sheets if anyone is interested. Please see her.
Does everybody know what the ALICE training is?
You all got that? Introduction of ordinances and resolutions. Ordinance number 13, 2023.
An ordinance to approve the vacation of a portion of South Avenue Southeast, Massillon, Ohio, an unimproved 50-foot wide right-of-way located north of Harsh Avenue Southeast and running in a westerly direction from 20th Street.
Councilman Creamer, Councilman Fields.
Thank you, President Nick. Mr. Sneed asked that I request this be given first reading tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Ordinance number 13, 2023 has received first reading. Ordinance number 14, 2023.
An ordinance making certain appropriations from the unappropriated balance of the 1233 Municipal Court Computer Fund for the year ending December 31st, 2023, and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Lewis.
Yes, this is an appropriation of $25,052. It's within the municipal court related to a state grant that they have received. Are there any questions or discussion this evening? Seeing none, make a motion to suspend the rules requiring three readings, bring ordinance number 14-20234 for a vote.
Second by Councilman Lombardi. Roll call for suspension.
Howard Smith,
Yes.
Kern King,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Lombardi,
Yes.
Slutes,
Yes.
Biola,
Yes.
Creamer,
Yes.
and Gray.
Yes.
8 yes, 4 suspension.
And for passage.
Kern King,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Lombardi,
Yes.
Slutes,
Yes.
Biola,
Yes.
Creamer,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
and Howard Smith.
Yes.
8 yes, 4 passage.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Ordinance number 14, 2023 has passed. Madam Clerk, is there any unfinished business?
No, there is not.
Are there any petitions and general communications?
Yes, we have a transfer of a liquor license from High Petroleum LLC, doing business as Prime Station, located at 804 Wales Road Northeast, Massillon, Ohio, 44646. KPRP LLC, located at 804 Wales Road Northeast, Massillon, Ohio, 44646. Permit classes are C1 and C2 and is located in Ward 1.
Councilman Lombardi, did you receive information on this?
Yes, I have, President Nick.
Thank you.
And we also have an economic transfer of a liquor license from SLZ Incorporated, doing business as Sahara Grill, located at 4794 Dresser Road Northwest, Canton, Ohio, 44718. And forgive me because I never can read this word, even when I see it on the sign. It's PLAQUE of Massillon LLC, located at 101 Massillon Marketplace, Massillon, Ohio, 446. And permit classes are D1, D2, D3, and D6, and is located in Ward 4.
Councilwoman Creamer, did you get information on this?
Yes, I did.
Do you know how to pronounce that word?
No, I do not.
Anybody?
Kalaki-paki.
Talacky-packy.
Okay, thank you.
Well, that's kind of snappy. Talacky-packy. All right. Madam Clerk, are there any bills, accounts, and claims?
Yes, we have a bill in the amount of $167 payable to Bonnie's Engravers for name plates. Mr. Hearn King, did you notice Mr. Viola has his own name plate?
I did, thank you.
You're welcome. And also our new stamp with his name added to it. First Commonwealth Bank, which is our credit card, and the amount of $156.06 for our clock, a new headset, and postage. $133.35 payable to U.S. Bank Equipment Finance, which is the January payment for our copier, for a total of $456.41.
Councilman Lewis,
Make a motion to pay the bills.
second by Councilman Gray. Roll call.
Lewis,
Yes.
Lombardi,
Yes.
Slutes,
Yes.
Viola,
Yes.
Creamer,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Howard Smith,
Yes.
and Kern King.
Yes.
8 yes to pay the bills.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. The clerk will pay the bills and charge them to their proper accounts. Reports from city officials.
We have the mayor's report for January of 2023.
Thank you. Reports of committees. Our next work session will be Monday, February 27th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. Councilman Slutz?
Thank you. I'd like to have a health and welfare meeting on March 6th at 5:30. I'd like to invite Frank Sulla, and so we could address some of the building code ordinances with him in his department.
Okay. Anyone else have anything? Mayor?
Good evening, Madam President, members of council. For my report this week, the only thing I wanted to share with you is the nomination form is out for city employees, Veterans of the Year, Student of the Year. Diane, I can leave this with you if you'd like to share it with everyone. The breakfast will be April 21st at St. George's Social Hall. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Call the counter, nothing, no third reading, second reading ordinances and resolutions. Resolution number 3, 2023.
A resolution reversing the decision of the Massillon Board of Zoning Appeals in the variance case number 2023-1.
Councilman Kramer?
Thank you, Madam President. This request is to reverse the decision of the Massillon Zoning Board of Appeals made on January 12th. This request is to operate a home-based occupation of licensed massage therapist at 800 Taggart Avenue Northeast, Massillon, Ohio, parcel 612447 in an R-3 single-family zoning district. The appeal was filed with the Clerk of Council on January 17th, 2023. We had a public hearing this evening at 5:30, and we've heard a lot of statements by individuals this evening, and I just want to thank everyone for sharing their comments with us, and for Jennifer McConnell for the work that she does for our community. In addition to that, we all received copies of Chapter 1180, Home Occupations and Incidental Residential Uses. So the intent is to establish regulations which will permit home occupations and other incidental residential uses in a manner which will preserve the peace, quiet, and tranquility of residential neighborhoods, and to ensure the compatibility of such uses permitted within the same zoning district. Home occupations will particularly benefit individuals with physical disabilities as well as those having to care for children or the elderly within the home. There are also potential benefits to the local community to be realized by those seeking services or goods, supplies from home occupations and other incidental residential uses. However, these positive benefits must be weighed against the potential impacts of such uses on the residential character of the neighborhood. I have some questions that we did not get to ask during the public hearing that I really need clarification on the request and the background of this business. So I would like to bring up Ms. Jennifer McConnell and have council ask any questions that you may have regarding her request.
Jennifer, if you could go forward to this mic.
You're still under oath, Ms. McConnell.
Yes, sir.
Good evening.
Thank you. I'll start off with asking you, your one child that you mentioned, your 9-year-old, he attends Whittier
Yes, ma'am.
Elementary. Does he attend school 5 days a week?
Yes.
Throughout the entire day?
Yes.
Also, you mentioned your husband is a truck driver. Does he work full-time as a truck driver?
He works 4 tens.
So he is full-time as a truck driver.
Yes, ma'am.
Does any other council members have questions? I have additional questions to ask, but I want to open it up for those to have questions also. Anyone have questions?
Councilman Gregg?
I don't have questions for Mrs. McConnell, but I will have perhaps questions for other individuals. If that's allowed. But I'll do it in your time.
Yes.
Councilman Gregg?
Then I'll continue since Ms. McConnell is up here. When you worked out of Dr. Potnick's office,
Yes, ma'am.
how many years did you work in that office?
7.5.
And what were the hours that you worked in that office, and how many days a week?
Tuesday through Friday. When I first started with her, I did see some clients on Saturdays with the approval of Dr. Kotnick herself to be in the office.
And what were your hours?
They flexed on a Saturday to appointment only. I've never taken walk-ins. It's always been by appointment only.
What about during the week? Did you work, like, I know currently, based on your hours, you're working about 38 hours a week.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you working those same hours when you were at the doctor's,
Yes,
working at the doctor's office?
yes.
And when you purchased your home here in Massillon, did you understand that in order to proceed with a home business, you would need a permit in order to operate?
I'm sorry, ma'am.
In order to operate a home business, did you understand that we have ordinances permitting or not permitting home businesses based on what's granted through our ordinance 1180?
When I purchased my home, I did not purchase it to open a business there.
No, but did you realize that we had ordinances that would possibly prohibit home businesses unless you have a permit?
No, ma'am.
Thank you, that's all I have.
Councilman Gregg, did you say you had questions?
Well, yes, but I don't know if anybody that can answer them is here. My interest is in the zoning board of appeals, and if there was anybody from that board here that can answer as to why this was a unanimous decision to deny the variance, or any other individual that has firm knowledge of that.
Jennifer, we're down with you. Thanks.
Councilman, if I may, I mean, the transcript's a part of,
Chris,
the
pass the
record.
microphone back. Thank you.
Thanks. I know the transcript's a part of the record, and testimony was presented by the zoning inspector official, Mr. Johnson, but it's the actual, rationale beyond what's expressed in the transcript. I mean, I don't know that we'd be able to have anybody in here to answer questions as to their thought process, just like, once council makes their decision. I mean, judges aren't subject to questions as to why they decided a certain way, and neither are you guys. But I don't know that we have anything else beyond what's in the transcript.
Thank you, Mr. Mack. I did read the transcripts, and that's why I was asking. I didn't see anything in there that gave any rationale for the decision to not grant. And I think there should be some there that, we have zoning in place for reasons. We have a zoning board of appeals in place for particular reasons. And I generally put a lot of weight on those individuals and what they're assigned to do or asked to do as part of the community. I'd like to know why this tonight, and in reading the transcripts, and tonight from hearing what we've heard this evening in the meeting, is a great deal of positive reasons to have that business located where it's located. I've not heard very much, if anything at all, as to a negative. I know there's a gentleman that's expressed that he didn't like the fact that it was there. It wasn't part of the community. It wasn't. They weren't part of the neighbors per se. But as far as exact negative impact, I'd like to know what the exact negative impact on that community, on that neighborhood, is to have this business located there. I'm not sure anybody can answer that, but that's my thought process. Thank you.
Councilman Lewis?
Yeah, what I'm wrestling with at the moment in making this decision is making a decision based off of the laws and the rules that we currently have that govern our community, and not based on the emotional reactions that we may feel. So we do know that there may be a lot of good that comes from this service for many people, and while that may garner some empathy from us as we all enjoy seeing good for others, that is not what we are charged with. We are charged with making sure that the laws that are in place in this community are being upheld, and if there is to be a variance, it is done so in a legal and reasoned manner. In particular, this one is a use variance. hardship placed on the property owner if the variance is not granted. And considering that this property is a residential home in a residential community that was resided in for well over 3 years prior to the business being placed inside of it, I think that is providing us evidence that there is no undue hardship because the property was providing its stated purpose for multiple years prior to. Additionally, one thing that I find very compelling is that the registration of this business was originally denied by our code enforcement building department, and the continuation of a commercial enterprise out of the property was still went forward with, even though an initial denial was already granted. And while I appreciate transparency, it still does have an air of you were told you could not do this and you did so anyways. And that's how we get to this. So my decision is leaning towards the fact that we were initially denied and we still went forward. And two, I do not see any undue hardship based on the current usage of the property because it still serves its original purpose of residential location.
Councilman Lombardi?
Thank you, President Eising. I want to echo what Councilman Lewis has said. Even though we didn't hear from many opposed here tonight, I have heard from several opposed to this. Our zoning laws are in place for a reason, and it's to protect our neighborhoods, and that's protecting the serenity of this neighborhood right now. And the people who have owned their homes, who purchased their homes and have been there for years, and even people who haven't been there for years, that they deserve to have the neighborhood that they chose to live in without businesses opening up in it. And as far as I'm concerned, when we start looking at zoning variances, in this case, we're not asking to put a fence up around somebody's yard, or put a tool shed in their backyard. We're asking for this property to now be able to be used as a business. So where do we draw the line? Okay, if a psychologist moves in the neighborhood, can he open his business there? If a mechanic moves into the neighborhood, can he use his property for his business? And so on and so forth. I think that our zoning laws were put in place for a reason, and we do need to keep that. We need to back those laws and back those reasons. Like I said, they're for the protection of the other residents.
Councilman Hurricane?
Thank you, Madam President. I agree with Mr. Lewis and Mr. Lombardi. I'm not sure there is an undue hardship here. Mr. McConnell works 40 hours a week as a truck driver. Mrs. McConnell's son attends Whittier School, so he's gone 8 to 9 hours a day. I think that it's basically a choice and a preference whether to save money from renting a retail location or just a convenience thing. I think there certainly is time for her, and it is appropriate for her, to have a for-profit LLC business in a retail commercially zoned district, not in a residential district. This is not similar to teaching or music instruction as exempted by the code. Those are more than likely not for-profit businesses. I think this move was to do this at home. This was purely for family and personal reasons, and frankly, I think it's a little selfish for the neighbors who have had to deal with 32 cars a week, ranging over a 12-hour period as late as 9 at night. I sympathize with her plight, and I have no doubt that she does good work, and I appreciate the folks that came in to testify on her behalf. I'm pretty confident that they will come to see her and utilize her services when she does have, like she had before, a commercially zoned office, where appropriate in the city or outside of the city. I will be voting no on this, and I hope we suspend the rules to resolve this evening. Thank you.
Anyone else? Councilman Kramer?
Thank you, Madam President. So at this time, I would like to, I'd like to make a motion to waive the rules requiring 3 readings for Resolution 3-2023 to taking a vote, I just want to clarify with this request, a yes vote is that you are reversing the decision of the zoning board of appeals and allowing Ms. McConnell with her home-based licensed massage therapist business, and a no is not reversing the decision of the Massillon zoning board. Thank you. Roll call?
Lombardi?
No.
This is for suspension.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Lombardi?
No.
For
Sluse?
suspension.
This is for
You
suspension.
want to waive the rules.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Suspend the rules. Sluse?
Yes.
Violen?
Yes.
Creamer?
Yes.
Gregg?
Yes.
Howard Smith?
Yes.
Kern Kane?
Yes.
And Lewis.
Yes.
8 yes to suspend the rules.
And for passage.
Sluse?
No.
Violen?
No.
Creamer?
No.
Gregg?
Yes.
Howard Smith?
Yes.
Kern Kane?
No.
Lewis?
No.
And Lombardi.
No.
That would be 6 no, 2 yes for passage. Resolution number 3, 2023 has been defeated.
Madam Clerk, Resolution 3, 2023 has been defeated.
We're at number 17 on the agenda, where anyone from the public can come forward and speak on any topic that did not appear on tonight's agenda. If you wish to do so, please come forward, state your name, address, and topic you wish to discuss. And please make your comments to 4 minutes.
That was you, George.
That was what you
Am I the only one that's going to talk? Okay. George Cleveland, 222 Lake Avenue, Massillon, Ohio. I am a taxpayer and I do own a small business as well. So, but anyways, I wanted to weigh in on the Tiger Rag situation because last week's discussion was, real good discussion. Everyone was talking about it, and the amendment is what we're trying to, the body is trying to, figure out a percentage. But yeah, I had a week to think about it, and the way I thought about it was, if you're going to amend it and fix this situation with a 60% lien or 100% lien or whatever the percentage is, some people might be on the fence like, well, 60 is kind of steep, 100, but 0, that's not enough. Even Aaron had said something about like a new owner coming in and not taking care of the property, and if it was to get demolished or whatever, and the grant money, if they're not taking care of the property, or the Frank was in there to survey the situation and maybe say it needed fixed or whatever. So I see this point of view. What I was thinking was, why isn't there a criteria, like from 100 to 0 in 20% increments? If you're going to amend this rule or the law, because I think this guy at the Tiger Rag store has been there 40 years. How many jobs did he create? Put 40,000 in it, paid his taxes. He did all this stuff for this building, and you guys want to slap a lien on it? I mean, that's like, how is that business friendly? That's what I'd like the 5 people that voted no to tell me how that's business friendly. I mean, the guy's done everything he could for this building and for the community. And you want to slap a lien on money that was given to him through a grant, you want to step in and impose a lien, I just don't get that. I mean, in certain situations, yeah. I mean, you got the other two buildings down here that were torn down, and the city's on the cost of that for a couple $100,000, so they slapped a lien on it so they can get their money back. I get that. But we don't know the future and how that's going to play out. That could sit there empty for a long period of time.
1 minute.
So what I'm trying to say is, furthermore, you had a buyer for the property. And another business was going to come in there, but that's what I was trying to emphasize, maybe a criteria of the longevity of the business. Do they take care of the property? Do they pay their taxes? Do they do the upkeep? How, you know, so that's what I wanted to try to convey to the council, that I don't think they should pay anything. Zero. And then throughout your discussion next week, I'd like to, because I've been coming up here, I'd like to know how that's business friendly. I mean, 40 years, a staple to the community, and then you want to slap a lien on his property. I just want to know how that's business friendly, and say, hey, come on, bring in your business, we'll take care of you. Unless something happens, and we're gonna, slap a lien on you. Overreach is what I think it is, government overreach. That's all I gotta say.
Thank you, George.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Good evening, Gail Dancy, 2014 Tennyson Avenue, Northeast Massillon, Ohio. I just wanted to come back and ask council to reconsider something that I brought up a long time ago with buildings being torn down. Would council please consider forming some legislation that would stop people from renting properties that are already under standard? Because I see now that one of the properties that was reviewed by the city and is under standard is still up for rent. So I believe the legislation can be written by the council that would say that in the city of Massillon, we will not allow slum landlords to rent to anybody. So I'm just asking that you will reconsider doing something about that. And then you won't be up against tearing down buildings that you're putting liens on that you'll never receive the money for. And you know that because possibly, or not possibly, in the past, one of the landlords, and I'll say it again, burnt down the building, went to prison, came back, and still owns half of Massillon. So when you put the lien on their property, they're never going to pay you anything, and I think all of you know that. So would you reconsider doing legislation so that they cannot rent to the citizens of Massillon their slum property? Thank you.
Thanks, Gail.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I said thank you, Gail.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
Anyone else? Seeing none, Councilman Kramer. I make a motion to adjourn. Second by Councilman Hurricane, roll call.
Violen,
Yes.
Creamer,
Yes.
Gray,
Yes.
Margaret Smith,
Yes.
Hurricane,
Yes.
Lewis,
Yes.
Lombardi,
Yes.
and Sweet.
Yes.
8 yes to adjourn.
We can adjourn.